Yo, what is going on, you guys? This is GamingWithSal and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I wanted to go ahead and talk about something a little bit more fun. And what I mean by that, I'm basically saying that I'm not going to be talking about any sort of news or updates or read any sort of patch notes that have come out for Black Ops 4 in the past couple of days. Nothing like that, except I do want to talk about some changes that I would wish to see come to Black Ops 4 instead. And what I mean by changes, I'm talking specifically about the score streaks that are in Black Ops 4's multiplayer. Now let me go ahead and just put this out there before I get any more into the video. I understand that whatever I'm about to talk about is probably not going to come to the game and probably won't ever happen, but I still wanted to go ahead and do this video, one, because I sort of wanted to get my thoughts and opinions out there about which score streaks I wished would have came to the game instead of the ones that actually made it into the game. And number two, it would be really fun to hear your guys' opinions as well and see which score streaks you would have loved to see come back to Black Ops 4. But anyways, let's just go ahead and dive right into it now. So on your screen, I basically went ahead and listed out all the score streaks that are available in Black Ops 4 as of right now, and the ones that are highlighted in red are the score streaks that I want to replace with other streaks that I've seen in past Black Ops games instead, and then the ones that are highlighted in blue are the score streaks that I wish would still stay in the game, except I would make a few tiny adjustments to them to make them a little bit more useful. So let's go ahead and talk about the streaks that I highlighted in red first. The first thing on my list is the dart. Now, whenever it comes to the dart, I really don't know how this streak made its way back into Black Ops 4. According to Treyarch, apparently, the Black Ops 3 dart was one of the fan favorite score streaks of that game, and that's the reason why they brought it back into BO4, but I really don't know where they got that information from, because I don't know about you guys, I personally never used the dart. I've never really seen anyone else use the dart in terms of actually equipping it as a score streak that they want to use, except for maybe only the times where we've gotten it from care packages. But other than that, I really don't see how this was a fan favorite score streak back in Black Ops 3. But anyways, the score streak that I would replace the dart with is a streak that I've seen in Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, and Black Ops 3, and was kind of disappointed along with many other people to see it not come back to BO4, and that is the Blackbird, the Orbital VSAT, the Hater, whatever you want to call it. They all basically did the same thing, except they're just called different names in each of the Black Ops titles. But for this video, and just for the sake of making things easier, I'm going to go ahead and just call this the Hater. So when it comes to the Hater, there's a reason why it didn't make its way back into Black Ops 4, and I actually made a video talking about this, so if you guys want to go ahead and check that out, I'll go ahead and leave like an annotation on the screen, so you guys can go check that video out if you guys want to. But at the end of the day, with all due respect, I don't really care what Treyarch says. I really wished this streak would have made its way back into Black Ops 4 instead of something like the dart, because one, it was a huge game changer whenever you decided to call it in. Number two, it helped you got your other streaks much more easily since you were able to see exactly where the enemies were, which direction they were facing, and where they were actually going. And just overall, it was a streak that people used way more than something like the dart back in BO3. So if they brought it back to Black Ops 4, which would have been amazing to see because they brought it back into every single Black Ops title, then we would actually have one more streak that people would have actually enjoyed using. Next up, let's go ahead and talk about the second streak that was highlighted in red, and that is the Lightning Strike. Now, whenever it comes to a streak such as the Lightning Strike, or also known as the Mortar Strike back in like Black Ops 1 or World War II, they all pretty much did the same thing. I never really enjoyed using it. Even if I got it out of a care package, I was sort of always bummed out because I would have rather gotten some other score streaks like the Hellstorm or the Cerberus or the AGR from Black Ops 2, you know, something that's a little bit more powerful than the Lightning Strike, only because whenever it comes to a streak like this, I personally believe at least that it's only useful for game modes such as Control or Hardpoint, because unless the enemies are huddled up in a certain area of the map and actually stay there, this score streak is just somewhat useless to me. And considering how there's so many different buildings on so many different maps here in Black Ops 4, it's probably not going to be as useful as maybe it was even in Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3, and even in those games, it really wasn't all that great. So once again, if it was up to me, I would go ahead and replace the Lightning Strike here in Black Ops 4 with something like the Napalm Strike in Black Ops 1. Now, I know what you guys are probably thinking. Sal, you just said that the streak is not useful unless if the enemies stay in one certain area of the map and that it doesn't make its way through buildings, so it's useless. But isn't that the same thing with the Napalm Strike? You are correct to a certain extent. However, the difference between the Napalm Strike and the Lightning Strike is that after you call in the Lightning Strike, it serves no purpose whenever it drops those 3 missiles, depending on where you decided to call it in. But when it comes to the Napalm Strike, after you call it in, not only can you possibly hit the enemies directly with it and get a kill off of it, but at the same time, the Napalm Strike's firewall, depending on where exactly you decided to call it in, can actually still block off enemies from coming to a certain area of the map, maybe such as like an objective in game modes such as Domination or Hardpoint, and basically just block off the enemies from coming to you if that's exactly what you need to happen. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that the Napalm Strike still serves a purpose after you call it in, but the Lightning Strike really doesn't do that. So that's one of the main reasons why I would replace the Lightning Strike with the Napalm Strike. Moving forward, the third thing on the list is the Thresher, also known as the Warthog from Black Ops 2. Now, the thing is, back in Black Ops 2, I remember the score streak streak being absolutely devastating. I actually wished that the score streak would make a comeback in some sort of Call of Duty in the near future, and it actually did here in Black Ops 4, except it's not as powerful as I remember it to be back in Black Ops 2. Now, I don't know why that's the case, maybe because it really isn't as powerful as the one we saw back in Black Ops 2, and maybe they do seriously need to make some changes so that it does act like the version that it was back in BO2. But if they're not going to go ahead and do that, I would much rather replace the Thresher with another score streak that's also from Black Ops 1, and that is the Chopper Gunner. Now, I remember the Chopper Gunner was one of my favorite score streaks back in Modern Warfare 2, and when I heard that it made a return in Black Ops 1, I was even more excited, except when I saw the version of the Chopper Gunner that was in Black Ops 1, I was like, this is amazing. It just made a full circle around the map, sort of like the gunship does, except you have a minigun attached to the side of the helicopter, and you're basically the gunner gunning these people down on the map. And it was just a fun score streak to use. It was much more consistent than something like the Thresher since you were controlling it, and therefore you could get more kills with it and actually have fun using it. So I would much rather see something like the Chopper Gunner from Black Ops 1 make a return versus like the Warthog from Black Ops 2, or at least the version of it that we see here in Black Ops 4. Finally, the last thing on this list is the Strike Team. Now, when it comes to the Strike Team, it's pretty obvious that it was probably inspired by the paratroopers back in COD World War II. Now, the only difference between the paratroopers and the Strike Team is that when it came to the paratroopers, at least 4 of them landed into the map. For some reason here in Black Ops 4, only 2 of them land. And I was really surprised to see that that was the case because, first of all, it's called a Strike Team, not a Strike Duo. I was expecting maybe at least the minimum of 3 Strike Team members to come down to the map, especially when they cost 13.5 kills to get. Yeah, seeing only 2 of them come down from the helicopter is very underwhelming. Not to mention, I've seen so many clips and I've actually experienced this for myself where some of the Strike Teams just don't really know what they're doing. They're sometimes like stuck in a hallway even after so many updates to make them better, and just sort of stare off at a wall or get killed off very easily. And I understand that in some situations the Strike Team really do perform well for some people, except I would much rather see it go away in replacement for the streak that I have written down here, and it's a streak from Black Ops 2 called the Swarm. Now guys, for all of you who have played Black Ops 2 and have seen the impact that the Swarm can make on a game and on a map, imagine that coming back into Black Ops 4. How cool would that be to see a streak from Black Ops 2 that was so iconic make a return in BO4? And it would be just the perfect score streak to replace the Strike Team with. Now, before I thought about the Swarm, I was actually thinking about the Attack Dogs, and it would actually make sense for the Strike Team to get replaced by the Attack Dogs because they sort of kind of did the same thing whenever they were called into the map. However, because Nomad has a dog of his own, I didn't really know how that would work out if like the Attack Dogs were in the game and then his dog personally was in the game as well. Like imagine a Nomad calling in the Attack Dogs as a score streak and then calling his own dog on top of that. That would just be a very chaotic situation, so that's kind of why I threw out the Attack Dogs as a possibility and just put the Swarm in instead. And there you have it. Those are the streaks that I would replace with some of the streaks that we've seen and past Black Ops titles. Now let's go ahead and quickly just talk about the ones that were highlighted in blue, which were the Sentry Gun and the Drone Squad. For the Sentry Gun, I would change it to where you can actually pick up the Sentry Gun and move it to a different part of the map if you wanted to do that, because we were able to do that with like I think the Sentry Gun back in Black Ops 2, Black Ops 3, so I don't understand why we can't do that here in Black Ops 4. And if they go ahead and make this change, then it would actually make the score streak more useful to use. And then finally, for the Drone Squad, it's amazing at what it does right now, except I would actually make it to where you can control it as well, sort of like the Talon, because back in Black Ops 3, the Talon pretty much did what the Drone Squad did as well, and that is to protect your back if you weren't controlling it. But then as soon as you pull down square, whenever you had the Talon up in the air, you were able to control it and move it around on the map wherever you wanted to. And I feel like that's something we really need, especially when we have a lot of buildings once again here in Black Ops 4 on some of these maps. So if we can go ahead and change the Drone Squad to where we can control it, it would make it a much more useful and fun score streak to use, at least once again in my opinion. But overall, you guys, those are some of the changes that I would love to see come for the score streaks here in Black Ops 4, or some things that I would change up if I was in control. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think and which score streaks you would have loved to see come back in Black Ops 4. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below if you guys want to go ahead and leave them. And with that said, I'll go ahead and get out of here now. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, click the bell icon so you'll never miss an upload, and follow me on my social media accounts to stay connected. Links will always be in the description below, and I will go ahead and talk to you guys in the next one. So take care of yourselves, and bye.